let's talk about Tekken 8. See if I can get this knocked out in a couple of minutes. I don't want to spend too much time talking about this. So here we go. Um, First anniversary of Tekken 8. I wish the game was in a better state. First and foremost, I get the motto of this game is aggressiveness, that you're supposed to just like stay in the battle, this and that. But several things need to change that will not take away from what your motto is. Like, why is it that we feel like we don't have any defensive options? Backdashing is terrible. Sidestepping is terrible. Every other move's got plus frames on plus frames on plus frames. Things like getting launched and getting taken for like half life in a single combo, or in the case of Clive, like ending a whole match in one combo. That's terrible, man. Um, the game basically became something where you're not necessarily playing against the other player. You're just trying to see who can launch who first. And as soon as you get a launch, you get the combo, you get the filler, you get the combo ender, sometimes combo extender, and that's half of your life gone. I've seen rounds end in literally two combos, and I find it a little unfair to some people. And overall, it makes for a very dull game, um, especially when you add the fact that the game itself will do things to where it could either go in your favor or it could totally kill you. For example, there's a lot of situations where in Tekken 7 you could consistently sidestep and take somebody's back. And the same exact situation, same exact moves, strings, whatever, in Tekken 8 do not behave the same. Um, you can sidestep somebody in Tekken 8 and it might work for you in one round, but the next round, that same move, even though you timed it impeccably, you'll still get clipped. There's a lot of instances where the characters just realign themselves for whatever reason halfway through a string, or characters just happen to clip you even though you're completely out of the way. And like, how's that a thing, man? It just makes it look lazy. It makes it feel like the developers or whoever is totally not focusing on the right things, man. Like, everybody's so caught up on battle passes and all these pointless, useless like cosmetics, because it seems like everybody's just out to get like a quick cash grab, essentially. Like, why focus all your attention on things that you basically reskin and recolor and resold to us? Things that were there in like Tekken Tag 2 and the customization, which was probably one of the best customization options back in the day. But things that have been there from like Tekken Tag 2 all the way to Tekken 7, and now they're like sold to us as a battle pass. Like, why? Like the deer head. Why did we have to pay for a deer head? It was there in Tekken 7. Anyway, that's just an example. So you're telling me you're blowing all your resources and like doing pointless battle passes and like reskins or retextured, recolored items, but you can't take the time to invest some of the resources and some of the money that people are willingly giving you into actually fixing the game. Um, Everybody in this game hits like a damn truck. I feel like it just takes away from what character archetypes are supposed to be. In fighting games, usually you have like the big guys, pretty big, pretty slow, usually a grappler, but hits like a ton of bricks. Um, the mid-sized guy, the average-sized guy, is usually going to be somebody that's like a nice blend of strength and speed. The smaller characters, like your Bruce Lee types or like some females, are usually not gonna hit as strong, but they're gonna get away with a ton of speed, man. That was their advantage, speed. And I felt like that was the traditional three main archetypes. Now there's several other archetypes which I'm not willing to get into right now, but with everybody doing crazy damage in Tekken 8, it just feels like it doesn't matter who you pick. Every character's game plan is essentially the same. You go in there, you launch, you combo filler, combo ender, combo extender sometimes. The hate system is good in theory, it's a good idea, but the way it's executed in this game, I feel like it's terrible. Which I know it'll never happen, but in a real, I wouldn't say in a real world, in a perfect world, the heat system, in my opinion, should be like a once per match and not once per round. kind of like Mortal Kombat in their Fatal Blow. That way, it gives people um, an actual choice, like whether do you want to use the heat now, or would you like to save it for later when you could actually turn the whole fight around for a moment where it would actually matter, as opposed to just spamming the hell out of it every single round. Like I cannot tell you how many times I've played and at the beginning of the round, heat activation. Like that's the first thing everybody does. There should be more options to that. It should be more limited so that you can really weigh your options. I should say. Rage art is whatever. That's not going away. Some of them look pretty cool. Some of them are fucking terrible. I feel like Shaheen's looks terrible. King's could have been better. Um, but anyway, I digress. Going into Clive, terrible choice as a guest character. I have like footage of me just ranting about this motherfucker for over 30 minutes, but I don't want to get too deep into it. Essentially, what I'm trying to get at is same thing everybody is gonna bring up. Weapons don't belong in Tekken, and I can already hear some of you. Oh, but Yoshimitsu's got swords, but Kunimitsu's got swords. This and that. So what, man? They've been there since the beginning. They get a free pass. Get over it. 90% of their moveset, all the way up to like Tekken 5, I believe, consisted of hand-to-hand combat. The swords were there for like flashiness, and it was a high risk, high reward type deal. It's not like what it is now in Tekken 8. I feel like that's way more. It went more in like the anime route, where everything just needs to be over the top. So now every single option out of Yoshimitsu is flash, and then like sword spins here and there. Anyway, um, Yoshimitsu gets a free pass. Weapons should not be allowed in Tekken. Oh, but Victor is an original Tekken character, and he's got swords and he's got guns. And we hate that motherfucker too. First time I saw the trailer, I was like, okay, cool character design, looks like a Tekken character. But why? Why give us all this stupid bullshit? Like, he doesn't even play by Tekken rules in a Tekken game. Which, going back to Clive, doesn't play by Tekken rules in a Tekken game. But the other reason I don't like the fact that he's in the game, other than I don't give a fuck about Final Fantasy, is we already had Clive in Tekken 7. We had Noctis. There's a video by PDX where he does like a move comparison whenever he's breaking down the character right after reveal, I believe. And it's like a 45-minute video. And pretty much every move that he's breaking down, he compares it to like Noctis and the animations, and it's essentially beat for beat the same thing. Uh, like one or two things might change, one or two properties in the moves might change, but it's essentially the same character. And that makes it feel cheap because it makes it feel like they sold you the same character again just with a new skin and added bullshit. Speaking of selling you the same stuff, Heihachi should have been base roster. There's no reason why Heihachi came back this early on in the game's lifespan. It should have been saved for a moment where like the game is going in a downward spiral, and bring back a little bit of hype by bringing back Heihachi. And also, he doesn't even play like Heihachi anymore. He's basically like Guy Lydia, like Dude Lydia. He's got stance after stance after stance. That's all he does nowadays. You go Super Saiyan if you really want to be unkillable. Not that he already isn't unkillable. And why in the fuck does he have Political Storm? Like that's how much of a Lydia clone he is right now. He's not a Mishima. He's a Lydia clone. He's a Sovieska, I guess now, with a fucking Political Storm. Anyway, that terrible decision. Eddie should have been their base roster. Lydia should have been their base roster. I hate the fact that Anna's coming back, but she should have been their base roster. Giving us Clive as a guest character is terrible. You literally had 1,000 choices and like a million different things would have made more sense than Clive. Hell, could have given us Crash Bandicoot if you're gonna make a joke character, really. Like what Clive is. Anyway, the thing also that gets me about him is the fact that his like effects, his magic bullshit, and the fire and the sparks and all that other crap is too flashy. It makes it hard to determine where the next move is gonna go or where he's going next, and so it kind of makes it hard for you to read. And man, I already heard it like, oh, but why don't you just go in the lab and practice and then lab him out and learn how to fight against them? Actually learn the matchup. That's all you gotta do. Learn the matchup. I'm not gonna waste my time. Plain and simple. I ain't doing it. Because he's gonna be the type of character that's gonna slowly disappear. So why even waste my time? I'm just not gonna do it. As a matter of fact, I hate to be that guy because I pride myself in taking my losses. But when it comes to Clive, I've never rematched anybody. Doesn't matter if I lose, doesn't matter if I win. I just don't want to feel like I'm wasting my time. Because every single time you fight Clive is not Tekken, it's the Clive game and you're the NPC, you know. And I get it, it appeals to some people. The closest character I can compare him to is probably Dante from Devil May Cry. And because he's got similar, basically, like, move sets, I guess. Guns, fucking swords, magic, whatever you want to call it, all that. And crazy effects. And as much as I love this character, I don't want to see him in Tekken because it'll be the Dante game, and you're the NPC. But overall, it just feels like a cheap cop out having that we had Noctis. I know a lot of people wanted Tifa. Personally, I couldn't care any less for a Final Fantasy character. I would have done good without him. Tifa would have been a better option, but still. And it's the same reason why I don't want to see another Street Fighter character, especially a Shoto, coming back to Tekken. Because we already had Akuma. I don't want to see Ryu. I don't want to see Ken or Sean because it'll just feel cheap, man. We already have Akuma. All you gotta do literally is just like reskin the model and tweak up a couple of moves, and then now it's Ryu. Now it's Ken. Now it's Sean or Sakura even. Like, it just feels cheap. If they're gonna bring characters into season 2, like guest characters, do the way Street Fighter's doing it, because those guys are killing it, man. They're pandering to actual long time fighting game fans, to the actual fighting game community. They're bringing back Terry, they're bringing back Mai, they're keeping them true to their games, but it still feels like you're playing Street Fighter. And that's the way it should be with Tekken. Keep them true to the game, to the games that the guests come from. It did a good job with Akuma, essentially, and Geese. They felt like they were playing their respective games, but in a Tekken setting. The fact that they were kind of cheap, that's a different topic. So I feel like Tekken 8 needs to kind of like pull it back a little bit, and really, for whatever new guest character comes out, they really need to invest the time in making it feel like the character without taking away from what Tekken is. Like, I don't want to see any more characters with weapons or guns. Like, I'm fucking done with that. Why does Nina need a gun after like 7 Tekkens without using a gun? It's dumb, but whatever. I don't think I got all my points across. I think that's about it. All I have to say, how I feel currently about the game in its current state. I do wish that when the season 2 big patch drops, it's substantial. There's things that need to change mechanically for the game to actually function and be fun again. And there's a lot of stuff character specific that needs to change that could make the game better. Like, I'm all for getting the new moves like we saw in the trailer. Everybody's getting new moves, and that's a good idea and all, but when we have moves we're already having issues with, I don't think we need to add any more new stuff, man. Dragunov's Quarter Circle Forward 4, it's too good. Like, it already is good at the wall. It's good on block. It shouldn't be good on block. It's good on hit, obviously, and it hits grounded. Why does it hit grounded? Not to mention that if the game wants you to, it'll track. Like, so why is it that good? Dragunov is still too damn strong in my opinion. Jin, don't even get me started. His weird claw thing, his Uber hand that he's got, the down 2, that's too damn strong. For a move that's basically a snake edge or like a dragon's tail, why doesn't it have dragon tail properties in, like, on block? Why is it so damn good? Why can't not every character punish it consistently? It's too damn good, man. It's too safe. That's just one of the moves. I've seen that motherfucker literally duck lows. Like, how? How are you ducking a low? But it's another thing also with like some of the animations in Tekken, and they've been doing it for a while, since like Tekken 6 maybe, where there are certain moves that look like a mid but it's a high, or highs that look like highs and it's actually a mid or something like that. For a good example is Feng Wei's like palm thing, his like quick palm strike. It looks like a mid, but it's a fucking high. Like, you can duck it. Negan was a really good guest character. Going back to the guest characters for a minute, Um, he played by Tekken rules. He was for all intents and purposes, he was a Tekken character. Like if he wasn't a Walking Dead character, you would not know the difference. And I know what everybody's gonna say. Oh, but Negan has a bat, and that's a weapon, and you don't like weapons in Tekken. Yeah, but here's the thing: for every positive thing that you have going for Negan, as far as the bat goes, he had a ton of like drawbacks. He didn't have any good kicks, which his bat is essentially his kicks. If you look at it that way, his bat did not give him any extra reach, no more than what his leg could reach. And if you don't believe me, boot up Tekken 7, hit the practice mode, and see for yourself. He actually holds the bat like right in the middle, like halfway down the bat. So he doesn't have extra reach. That's just his kicks essentially is what it is. Anyway, um, overall, like Clive just doesn't fit. Also, like aesthetics, like he just looks like he'd fit better in like The Witcher. Looks like he stepped out of like the Middle Ages. Tekken's style is usually like very casual, very modern, uh, almost like a very everyday, kind of like a King of Fighters characters kind of dress. They dress like almost like everyday people, a little more stylish, and it looks like they got more money than I do, but still, point still stands. Maybe slightly futuristic, but Clive just feels so out of place, man. Um, anyway, hopefully with season 2 we get some really good changes. I feel like they dropped the ball in all the DLC characters. This season was terrible. Hopefully Harada's out there listening, or whoever, to the fans, and actually puts in way more effort into giving us quality stuff as opposed to just random like battle passes with the same items we had since 7 and shitty DLC. I would like to see Bruce come back. He's been like the number one pick for everybody when it comes to like characters coming back. I would like to see Falcon Realm. It'd be interesting to have two Muay Thai characters in one season. Um, Obviously Armor King, obviously Marduk. Miguel would fit the perfect like aggressive model that you're going with. And there's just a ton of other characters that I feel like were great and have a little bit of a following even. Roger, bring back Roger and Alex, man. Bring back Roger, make Alex a palette swap. The same exact moveset. If you bring back Roger Jr., please bring back Roger Jr. as a grown-up kangaroo, and not the mom. I always found it kind of disturbing that he's hanging out like out of the mom's sack while the mom is kicking ass. And it never set right with me that the character was Roger Jr., but the mom did all the fighting. Yeah, that's just a little disturbing in my opinion. Anyway, those are my current thoughts. I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't want this video to get any longer than this, so I'll be seeing you in Tekken 8 Season 2 maybe. Maybe I'll make a big comeback.